What's going on, guys? It's your boy Dave back to our final send-off of our 2017 Tattoo Pro Tip Extravaganza. Um, just to review really quick, we talked about tattoo history and culture, where it came from, up into modern tattooing. We talked about how to build your portfolio, find your artist, come up with your design, find the parlor. I told you guys how to do reconnaissance, what to look for while you're at your tattoo parlor. And then I talked about what to do for your pre-game stuff, your pre-tattoo work that you need to do, staying out of the sun, taking care of your skin, being focused, no drugs, no dope and smack and cocaine, none of that shit, no alcohol. And then I talked to you guys about aftercare, how to keep your tattoo looking good, and making sure that it heals correctly. So that being said, we had a lot of fun doing this one, and unfortunately now we got to talk about the not so fun stuff. Okay, I want to talk to you guys about really quick safety stuff when it comes to getting a tattoo. Again, I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible, but the bottom line is when you get a tattoo, you're going to be dealing with needles, you're going to be dealing with blood, fluids, very much like a medical procedure. So be aware. If you're not a fan of any of those things, you may want to take longer than 6 months to decide whether or not you want to get your tattoo, because that is the reality of it. When you go in to get work done, there's always a chance of infection and illness and stuff like that. However, that being said, the risks of you getting an infection from tattooing in today's tattoo world are so small. I don't like to use the term infinitesimal. That's how small of a fraction of a decimal point the chances are that you're going to get sick or ill from getting a tattoo. But again, just be aware of it. If you follow those cleaning pro tips I told you with the soap and stuff, you'll be just fine. And remember, it's your responsibility to do the recon. Is the place clean? Is your artist should be always wearing rubber gloves, should have plastic covering on all the tools. All of the needles should be sterilized. The chair, tables, trays, everything should be cleaned and re-prepped brand new when you sit down and get your tattoo. That is your responsibility to look for that. If you even look over there and you notice the same ink was sitting there from the last customer, get your candy ass up and get the fuck out of that tattoo parlor. Okay? I don't give a shit what anybody says. That is the definition of cross-contamination. You can't have that. That is very, very bad. That's why I encourage you to not go to people's basements to get tattoos, what they call prison-style tattoos. That's what they are. If somebody's doing tattoos out of their basement, don't go into their basement. That's a good pro tip, rule of thumb, okay? Go to the professionals, pay the right price, ask the right questions, and make sure that the place is clean. That being said, really quickly, I want to talk to you guys about allergies. And I mentioned this in one of the earlier pro tips, and this is fairly important. When they develop tattoo ink, for the most part, it's organic. Sometimes they'll use like a fish oil base or some kind of an organic oil base, an extract, whether it's plant or animal based, but it's fairly benign, meaning it doesn't react with anything. However, when they add pigments to that to come up with the colors, generally what they're going to be using are minerals and or metals to make those colors. And what you find is that's where the allergic reaction comes from. So if you ever heard of anyone say, I'm allergic to red, that's because when they make the red pigment to put in and mix to make tattoo ink, that's usually nickel based. So the person has an allergic reaction to nickel that they never knew they had until they got a damn tattoo. And when I say nickel, I'm not talking about the coin in your hand. That's a nickel, for those of you who don't know. I'm talking about nickel, the element from the periodic table. They're allergic to that. And it's fairly rare. But if you ever hear of somebody say, I got this tattoo, and they show you the red, and they're like, man, they did this tattoo and it bubbled and it pushed all the color out, that's an allergic reaction to red. Now, generally it's not dangerous. Like they'll get a tattoo and they'll notice it pushed that color out, it scabbed off and fell off in 2 days. That's all that is. You can't get that done again. Now, they are making strides in the tattoo ink industry where tattoo ink is becoming more compatible with everybody. So for the most part, it's your responsibility to make sure you're not allergic to any kind of metals. Nickel, minerals like sulfur, iron, lead, gold, silver, stuff like that. That's where those colors come from. They're minerals and stuff mixed together to give that brightness and that intensity of the color. I lucked out. I'm not allergic to any colors, so I'm able to get the work done that I want in the color that I want. So that kind of sums up safety, guys. Just again, be aware of what you're doing. That being said, let's end this with my least favorite subject, and that is judgment from other people about people with tattoos. It is an unfortunate side effect of having tattoos that there are going to be two kinds of people. There are going to be people who really love your tattoo, and there are going to be people who find it necessary to say, man, I would never get a tattoo like that. Well, those people shouldn't be giving you their opinion anyway. I find it unnecessary to even listen to what they say. However, in the society we live in, you're going to find that people with tattoos that are in positions of power are going to judge people more harshly with tattoos that are beneath them. Now that's across the board. I'm talking about in general, okay? As well as in business and stuff like that. I don't believe that having a tattoo should detract from your career. I think that's completely absurd. I am a Gen Xer, much as my friends are Gen Xers and millennials. We don't give a shit about tattoos. Someday a person with a tattoo is going to be running this country. That's a fact. That's the way I kind of like to think about it. However, just remember, guys, if you're going to get a job stopper, for those of you who don't know what a job stopper is, it's a tattoo that you cannot readily cover up. Okay? If you have a tattoo on your shoulder, you can cover it with a shirt, right? You have to wear a shirt to work. Okay? If you have a tattoo on your foot, you cover it with a sock, a shoe, whatever. If you get a tattoo on your hand, that's a job stopper. If you get a tattoo on your neck, that's a job stopper. Face. If you get the whites of your eyes tattooed, which is gaining popularity, those are called job stoppers. I'll let you figure out why they call them job stoppers. Okay? So, but again, I don't think that should hinder you from becoming a physicist with NASA just because you've got a tattoo on your hand. But that's the society we live in, guys. So, just to wrap up and in summation, if you're going to get a tattoo, do some homework. Know that it hurts like hell. Know that it's going to be on you forever, and know that people are going to judge you. But don't let that stop you from doing what you want. I have a lot of tattoos, and I have absolutely 100% zero regrets about them. I was lucky enough to get this arm. The majority of this arm was done by the legendary Scott Marshall back in 2000, and geez, 2 or 3 is when I started getting tattoos. And he used to work at the old Vanity Tattoo in Roselle, Illinois. And I remember him back in his 20s, and he was able to do a lot of work for me. And unfortunately, he passed late in 2015, as many of you remember him as the winner of the Ink Master show. Excuse me, very sad day. He was a young man, had a family, and this and that. But that's what I want to kind of tell you guys is I have his work to remind me of how great of an artist he was. Okay, that's on my skin. But now I'm working with a new artist, and he's picking up right where Scott left off, and that's Ty Armstrong down at Elixir Tattoo, and the guy is top notch, and that's what I look for in getting tattoos, and that's what you should look for too. So again, guys, I had an excellent time doing this pro tip extravaganza. I hope you guys learned something. I know some of them were a little bit long, and I hope you watched them because I tried kind of putting together everything that I knew so far up to today's date about tattooing and how to go about it and what its uses are, in society, both past and present. And I told you what I do, and I hope you can take that and run with it. And we're going to leave it at that. Again, I had a lot of fun doing this, guys, and maybe we'll do something at the end of the year. But go out, get some ink done, have fun, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.